Steps 1 through 3 are actually ways of filtering out shoes so you can narrow them down as quickly as possible. And step 4 and 5 take a little bit more time, but are essential to making sure you select the right shoe for you. Hi, I'm Sarah from SendEdition.com. If you're new to climbing or looking for new gear, click subscribe. I'm making videos like this just for you. So step 1 is deciding, are you doing outdoor long routes, or are you doing bouldering indoors or rock climbing indoors? If you're climbing long routes outdoors, then laces are probably the best option for you. Otherwise, indoor rock climbing, where you might be doing a bunch of routes and need to take your shoes off and on multiple times, then Velcro is probably the best option for you. Most places like backcountry and REI, you can click on a filter and choose Velcro or laces to help narrow down these shoes quickly. Step number 2 will help narrow it down even more by looking at how aggressive the shoe is: a neutral shoe, moderate shoe, or aggressive shoe. Now, in general, aggressive shoes should only be used for bouldering on steep overhangs, and you should have pretty significant experience in climbing before doing so. If you're wondering if maybe you should just skip to the aggressive shoes and go through the pain, don't. Consider neutral shoes or moderate shoes. Again, rock climbing, neutral shoes; bouldering, moderate shoes or neutral shoes. Step number 3 is considering your climbing style. If you do a lot of toe hooks or heel hooks, then you're going to want a rubber that supports toe hooks and heel hooks. For example, both of these shoes, this shoe has no additional rubber on the toe, so all of the pressure of a toe hook will be on this leather. These ones technically has this little piece of rubber right here, but you can tell just by feeling it in comparison to this rubber down here. It's really just for looks, it's not for actually toe hooking. When it comes to heel hooks, there are a ton of different systems for this, but in general, there's some sort of sharp shape like this. It goes up a little bit higher. This is another example of not really, it will be fine with heel hooks, but it's not specifically for heel hooks. So if you like heel hooks, then get a shoe that will help you with heel hooks. This isn't really something that you can click a filter, but you can look at the shoe and identify whether or not it's good for heel hooks by how much rubber or space is on this. Also, with the description of climbing shoes, they usually indicate whether or not they're good for heel hooks. And so that brings us to step number 4, which is research. Once you've got 5 or 6 shoes that you're considering, if you're lucky you have less than that, say you need to filter out via price, the next thing is to look at reviews. Now, when it comes to websites like 99 Boulders, what I've found is they're usually pretty optimistic, and it's kind of hard to tell how much they climbed in them. Sometimes it seems like the reviews are of people who tried the shoes on and took the shoes off. Maybe they climbed in a gym once, but just keep the reviews that you get on big websites like this with a grain of salt, because you don't actually know if they are what they say they are. Whereas if you go to like Amazon or the reviews in REI and backcountry, you can usually find a pretty good indication of how people feel about the shoes. A lot of time the reviews are going to be about the quality of the rubber, which is something you should pay attention to. The better the rubber, the better your experience in climbing. But if you find that most of the reviews are like, these are the best shoes ever, then consider getting them. But before you get them, we need to do step number 5. Step number 5 is actually trying on the shoe. And I went to REI and tried on every single shoe in my size that they had available. And what I found was my feet suck and I don't fit in a lot of shoes. Though that was kind of a sucky thing to learn, I also was able to narrow down my shoes to presently 1 shoe, which is pretty impressive when you're considering trying out different shoes, to learn that your foot really fits a specific way. And so you, as an individual, you need to try on the shoes. And you may find that you have to buy the shoe before you can try it on. And if that is the case, make sure that there is a good return policy. For these shoes, the return policy is within 2 weeks and you can't have worn them or used them. I tried them on, they don't fit, so I have to return them. And that wraps up the 5-step process. Once you go through all 5 steps, you should be pretty certain that the shoes you have are the right shoes for you. Thanks for watching to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who may also be looking for a new pair of climbing shoes. Thanks again for watching and enjoy climbing.